Today we're going to take a look at preparing your fabric, and we're going to follow the notes that are on Blackboard. When you get fabric, it's a good idea to pre-shrink it for two reasons. One, it minimizes shrinkage, and fabrics can shrink, and it removes any finishes that are there that could cause a problem as you're sewing. Some fabric terms to go over. Selvage, and you can see along here, and the company name is on there. The selvage is the finished lengthwise edge of your fabric, and the lengthwise direction of your fabric is the strongest edge. It has the least amount of stretch. The crosswise grain runs from selvage edge to selvage edge, and it has a little bit more stretch. You can see that right there. The next grain is the bias, and the bias is the diagonal, and that has the most amount of stretch. Fabric is considered to be on grain when the crosswise and the lengthwise grains match up at 45-degree angles, and it's off grain when it's not at right angles, and that can happen from the processing it goes through, the weaving, the dyeing, the folding, the shipping. If your fabric is off grain, what you need to do is straighten it, and you're going to straighten your fabric so that it hangs better in a garment, it's not all off kilter, and it wears better. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that, and I'm going to show you some ways on scraps of fabric here. One way to straighten fabric is by tearing it, and you can take it from one end, and not all fabric tears. You want to cut the selvage, and you want to tear it. And tearing, it tears across a thread, and that will give you a straight edge. The thread will pull right straight across, and that will give you a straight edge. And then obviously what you would do is fold it in half and press it. You can straighten your fabric by cutting on a solid line. So this is a striped fabric, and if I cut across a solid line, and I just have a little sample here, you just cut straight across on that line, and then you would pull your threads until you got a thread that went straight across the line, and that gives you a straight line across there, and so that when you folded it, you would have a straight line. There's one other method, and that's called pulling a thread, and this is the most tedious, but sometimes you have to do it. You would cut the edge of your fabric, you would pull out a thread, and then you would start pulling it, and as you pulled it, you could see that thread through the fabric, like so, and then you would cut along that pulled thread, and that would give you a straight line across your fabric. Once you have gotten a straight line, you would line up your selvage edges and your crosswise and lay it out. Next time we're going to be laying out fabric, so we can talk a little bit more about that then.